Hello there and welcome to Black Jackal Gaming. We're going to check out one of the Primaris Close Combat Specialist units today. It's a mid-strength combat unit that can take out a lot of the weaker options in the game. They come with the mastercrafted power swords. They've got a good reroll ability when in combat. They've got a decent toughness profile for your bog standard T4 body, but they are a little bit generic for the price point. They come with a slightly supercharged normal Space Marine profile, so they come with the standard movement 6 T4 3-up save, but because of the Storm Shield, they do come with the 4-up invulnerability save. They get an additional wound coming in at 3 wounds, their leadership 6 and objective control 1. Now they come in a unit of 3 or 6 models for 90 or 180 points. For ranged weapons, they come equipped with heavy bolt pistols. This comes with a pistol keyword, allowing it to fire when in engagement range. It's 1 attack, ballistic skill 3, strength 4, minus 1 AP and 1 damage. The sergeant you want to upgrade to the plasma pistol, which comes with the pistol and hazardous keyword, if you're supercharging that is. It comes with 1 attack, 12 inches, ballistic skill 3. Now it's either strength 7 or 8, depending on whether you supercharge. And then AP 2 or 3, and then damage 1 or 2 to give you that little bit of extra damage and consistency when just charging in right at the end. All of your models for melee come with the mastercrafted power weapon. There's no upgrades available here. They come with 4 attacks, weapon skill 3, which is a bit disappointing. It would be nice to be weapon skill 2 with strength 5, minus 2 AP and 2 damage. So as you can see from the profile, if you're not buffing them in any way, they're quite good going into your lighter targets or possibly even Space Marines if you're getting some good rolls off. But ultimately, they're not going to do as much damage as you'd hope for with the price of the unit. Now, the unit does come with the Bladeguard ability. At the start of the fight phase, you can select one of the following abilities. So you can either choose the Swords of the Imperium, which lets you reroll a hit roll of 1 when in combat, or Shields of the Imperium, so each time you fail an invulnerability save, you can reroll any 1s. So you can either give yourself a little bit more consistency when hitting, or just make your unit a little bit more tougher and durable in combat and stay around for a little bit longer. Since the unit doesn't exactly hit in combat quite as hard as or consistent as you'd like, there are a couple of combos you can give them just to make them a little bit more beneficial in the game, and some buffs just to give them a little bit more consistency. So the characters that can join them, you can start off with the Chaplain, which can give them +1 to wound in combat. This can be really good just with that strength 5. It means anytime you're taking anything on strength 5 or above, you're going to be hitting it a little bit harder. So your strength 5 into your toughness 5s are going to be going down to 3. And then anything from 6 till 9, you're then going to be hitting on 4s rather than 5s. And then anything above then, it's on 5s instead of 6s. So you're not going to be in the position where you're really scraping the barrel trying to get these little extra wounds through. It's going to give you just a couple of extra percentage points to make sure you're killing what you need to. You can then also include a Lieutenant. This gives you lethal hits on 6. Or if you manage to get your critical hits to a 5 on a 5. So that's quite nice, again, to bypass that relatively low strength that they've got. Now, if you take the Apothecary, you can take this with the Primaris Lieutenant as well. So you can include it as alongside it just to get a little bit more value from your points. So the Apothecary can revive one killed model at the start of each command phase, which is quite nice. So if you're taking a 6-man unit, you're going to basically be able to stay around for the majority of the game with the Apothecary, and you're going to revive 3 to 4 extra Bladeguard. So if it's 3, that's an extra 90 points of utility you're getting out of the unit. Now there's a good little combo you can do, and you can do this with a lot of units in the Space Marine Codex as well. The Lieutenant with Combat Weapon. He's got the ability where he can select an objective at the start of the game. Generally the central objective base. Depends what the mission is, but the objective you're going to be fighting over, or the one that you think you can gain the most points from, you can select this objective, and any failed wound rolls of a 1, you can re-roll. So if you've got your 6-man unit with the Chaplain going into this objective, and you're already got +1 to wound, and then you're re-rolling failed wounds of 1, you're going to be able to start pushing through the majority of your hits and converting them into successful wound rolls. Looking at a couple of the detachments that you can use with these guys, and one of the best is probably the Vanguard Spearhead. So you get a little bit more durability out of your unit, because outside of 12 inches when they're targeted, they're -1 to hit, and they gain benefits of cover, which reduces incoming AP. So unless someone's right up on your grill, it starts becoming quite hard to remove these guys from objectives. There's a war gear that you can give to one of the characters that joins them, and this is Blade Driven Deep. This grants the unit the Infiltrator's keyword. So what you can do is at the start of the game, you can plonk this down on an objective in no man's land and just declare, this is mine for the rest of the game. Especially if you've got an apothecary there, it's going to be very hard to remove you from this objective early game, and you're probably going to stay there for the entire duration of the game. Or you've got the option of putting them in no man's land somewhere, out of line of sight, ready. There's a counter punch with your chaplain, just ready for that turn 1 or 2 charge to go off and get some early kills on the board with these guys, just getting a value for your points for having them on the field of play. And there's a strat that you can use with these guys when they're in combat. If you're against an army such as Necrons or someone like that, where they get great utility out of their characters, if you use a surgical strike stratagem, your melee weapons then gain the precision keyword. So you've got 12 attacks coming in at your BS3, potentially with Oaths of Moment going off. If you've got the chaplain, you've got +1 to wound. If it's on the objective, it's also re-rolling those wound rolls of 1s. So you're going in and you're basically nuking any character that can join a unit in the game, just with the consistency. If you get these combos off of what you can do with this unit. Then you've got the Ironstorm Spearhead. There's not an awful lot you can do with this, but if you do want a melee option with it, it does give you the ability to reroll a hit, wound, or damage roll for each phase. So when you are going into combat, it just gives you that slight advantage where if you do roll slightly lower than you would like to for something that's almost a guaranteed kill, and this is going to keep the unit or the model alive, you do have this reroll for the hit or the wound, just to push it over the line to get the job done. Then there's the Stormlance Task Force. The detachment rule allows you to advance and fall back and still charge, which is very good if you want to get off some early game charges or have a bit of counter punch later in the game. There's a piece of war gear that's quite nice, Portents of Wisdom. This allows you to re-roll your charge roll, just making you a little bit more consistent in getting into combat, especially early game. And then there's a stratagem, which is quite nice if someone's trying to take you out early on, or potentially they're going to get a charge off or some shots off that you know is going to wipe out the unit, and you need this unit to survive, to either score points or do a bit of damage. At the end of your opponent's phase, or not at the end, at the end of a movement phase for one of the units, either a normal or a fallback or an advanced move, if it ends within 9 inches of this unit, you can make a normal move, potentially getting you out of line of sight or moving you out of charge range, just to keep these guys alive for a little bit longer. Thank you for watching the video. If you have any comments, then pop them below in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, then please hit the like button, as it greatly helps the channel. Hit the subscribe button to see any future Warhammer content. Take it easy, and see you next time for more grim darkness from the 41st millennium.